Hi guys, I'm Daniel. Welcome to GunMag's Training Handgun Vitals. I'm a firm believer that every time you take a bad shot, you're practicing being bad. Every time you take a perfect shot, you're practicing perfection. We can't make the decisions 2 weeks ahead of time before shootings. We don't know what's going to occur. And if we know those are things that we'll work on before that. In this class, I'm asking for 100% focus and perfection, the perfect shot every single time. All right, let's grab, make sure we got at least 2 or 3 mags and we'll see where everybody's at. What I refer to as the immediate post-engagement system. We already talked about one piece of it, and that's after I draw and fire. And I think that I've hit them enough times, it's all over, or like at least it's over right now. I don't need to shoot them right then. And I asked the question, you know, how many rounds is it gonna take? Like, we don't know that until right then and there. I've shot 7, and now what decides that we're done, that we don't have to shoot anymore is, and what also decides if we get to shoot is, do they have the opportunity, the capability, and the intent to do harm? He drops his gun, is falling down to the ground. For the time being, I don't need to shoot anymore, right? He may regain consciousness very quickly and go for that gun. I have no idea. Maybe they didn't fall down. He just dropped the gun and ran. Maybe he turned around and ran and shot at the same time, in which case I'm not gonna discontinue my shooting. I'm gonna continue to do it. We wanna stop shooting when it's time to stop shooting and use the minimum amount of force necessary to finish the fight or finish whatever's happening to stop the threat. When I say minimum amount of force, that doesn't mean I'm going to go equal to their force. That doesn't mean I'm going to go just below their force. I may go over their force immediately, which is what we typically do in the use of force continuum, but I am not going to go beyond the force that's needed. I'm not going to do more force. I'm not going to shoot them 5 times and then run them over with a car, right? You're going to jail. So we need to have a post-engagement, a system, right? That helps keep us alive afterwards, a mindset, a concept that things that we think about. And like we had a plan for our emergency plan when we came out here in case somebody were to get hurt or choke at lunch or whatever. We have a plan for that. I think we should also have a plan for the fight. I want to have the best information I can. I want to be able to see. I want to see what's happening. I'm taking my shots. I'm not just tunnel vision into sights and just unloading this gun and not seeing what's happening around there. So there's a lot of things that happen in the shooting. This is where a lot of competition stuff gets better because we're prioritizing problems. The idea behind this post-engagement system is to help you solve those problems that are almost always going to be present in a defensive situation. And the first one is, does he need more bullets? Just because they go down on the ground doesn't mean it's all over. It just means maybe I have a lull in my shooting. I'm not going to deliver any more shots right now. This may be over right now. But then I got to start thinking about other things. What other things may I need to be thinking about in that part of the fight that I'm in?
Am I in the safest place right now?
Yeah, that's one we get into. Yeah, same thing as rifle class. Same kind of stuff I covered there.
If he's got any friends.
Is there more than one bad guy, right? Is there, and a threat may be a person. It may be a human. Maybe somebody else that's his partner trying to rob this joint or whatever. It may be his friend who's pissed off. We see gang initiations. You may not know this, but MS-13 is all over Texas, right? Like you watch the news, like, oh, it's not even a real thing. Talk to any law enforcement agencies out here, especially gang task force and things like that. It is overran in some areas around here. So if I'm in a parking lot or a parking garage, what is something that can hurt me out there that's not a human, like with a gun? A car, man. People on their phones not paying attention. Law enforcement officers, they're writing a ticket on the side of the road. Guy gets out, starts shooting. They find themselves in the middle of the interstate right there in a shootout with a dude with semi-trucks coming down the road. I need to be looking for that, the next threat, the next problem, whatever it is. Is there anything else here that can hurt me? And it could be all manner of things. It doesn't have to be a human with a gun. The next thing I'm thinking about, am I standing in the most survivable location? Is this the best place for me to stand? If we're in a gas station and there's a counter here and Xavier just had to shoot me, and we know that there's windows out here and the cops are gonna pull up at any time, you've got lots of people behind you that you don't know these people at all. You don't know if they're this guy's partner. You don't know any of those things. I probably don't want to stand with my back to all those people. Your best move may be to move back behind where you order food from, get behind the counter. So I could even have a gun at a low stool, and when I see an officer coming in, I can drop it in a holster or the guacamole or something and not have a gun in my hand when an officer arrives. Because I don't want to be standing there with a gun in my hand when an officer arrives if I can help it. If I'm not safe enough to put my gun away before the officer arrives, then hopefully I've been on the phone with dispatch and described myself and everything else, and that is not foolproof. You can tell dispatch all day long what you're wearing, who you are, that you're a good guy and you got a gun out and everything else, and then that'll never make it to the officers, and then sometimes it will. And then the officers that it made it to, they won't even arrive for a little while. So don't count on that. People talk about that a lot. Absolutely do it if you can. Give your description and everything else is going on the best you can to dispatch. That's who you're talking to when you call 911. You can do the best you can, but don't count on it. I would like to have my gun in the holster and covered before the officers arrive. I'd like to be in a position where I see them before they see me, so I can put my gun away and not have anything that looks any remotely close to what is referred to as furtive movement, which is the movement that is consistent with drawing a handgun and not really consistent with anything else out there. We don't want to be like, oh, let me get my phone real quick. Does he need more bullets? Is there anything else here that can hurt me? Am I standing in the most survival location? And then lastly, what's my next problem to solve? I'm in a good spot. I've got a hurt citizen over here. I've got a down bad guy. I've got EMS and law enforcement on the way. I know EMS isn't going to come in until law enforcement comes in and clears the scene. This person's bleeding right now. Looks like they got hit in the leg, so the femoral artery is like squirting blood like crazy out right there. They're going to be dead before EMS gets here. So if I'm going to save this person's life, I'm going to have to either direct somebody to give medical attention to that citizen, or I'm going to have to do it myself. So we're going to draw our guns, one shot, race the trigger back to the wall, go through our immediate post-engagement system. We're going to keep that level of intensity. We're going to visualize something every single time, whatever it is, and make good decisions. Be safe putting our guns back in the holster, and let's do it. Back online right here. We go. All right, guys, from the holster, still in the head. Good headshots there. Good headshots. Threat. Race the trigger back to the wall. Does he need more bullets? No. Is there anything else here that can hurt me? We can look around for that. As I look around for that, my gun's gonna stay kind of oriented on my biggest threat. My biggest threat is my down bad guy until I find a bigger threat. If I did find a bigger threat, I would shoot another target here to the right or to the left, but you didn't find that. We might find some of those tomorrow. Threat! Back to your system. When I take a training class, I work through this system in my mind constantly. You don't always get to the end of it, but you at least get to is there anything else here that can hurt me? And that's a big step. That's a big step. It gets you out of that tunnel vision. Because I promise you, the second you draw down on a person and you put 4 shots in his chest and they fall down and the noises that they make and the color the dirt turns and the stupidest things that happen around you, you're going to recognize it. Your brain is going to start thinking about the dumbest stuff that you're picking up on. It's going to be very distracting. And it's going to create that tunnel vision idea where you're staying focused either on the sights hard, on the bad guy that's down. You're trying to control your breathing. Your heart's beating out of your chest. You think you're pretty sure you're going to go to jail for life. Like hopefully they understand what just happened right here. There's a lot of things happening, and it's easy to miss what else is going to kill you there. So if we haven't practiced this transition from immediate use of violence to immediate thinking, it's not going to happen automatically in a gunfight or immediately after a gunfight. Threat! All right, one more time. Threat! Much better, guys. Nobody is jerking that gun back right away. We're looking good. Good draws, good shooting. It's coming together a little bit right now.